Okay, boxing fans, this is the big one. This is Devon Alexander versus Kell Brook. My prediction: Devon Alexander, 24 wins, 13 of which by way of knockout to a single defeat. However, you could add another two onto his record if you so wish. You know, Matisse fight, obviously your hometowner. Not a robbery for me, but it's a hometown decision. The wrong man won. And also the Andre Berto fight, which was more of a robbery than the Matisse fight, because he got totally schooled in that fight. So realistically, you're looking at a record of 22 wins to 3 losses, Devon Alexander. Um, Kell Brook won 29, 19 of which by way of knockout, undefeated. Undefeated and levelled up slowly and steadily, now looking for his big world title shot. If you want me to be fair, he's got one majority decision against Carson Jones, which is a war. Even looking at Jones, he didn't come out of that fight unscarred. If you look at his previous fight against Dean Byrne, he pretty much got beaten in that fight too. So he didn't exactly come out of that one very well. So yeah, so maybe if you want to be fair, maybe you could say his record's 28-1. If you want me to be totally fair, looking at the advantages for this fight, before I go into the main advantages, this is Devon Alexander's fight in my opinion. I'm 80% sure that he holds the biggest advantage in this fight before we go into them, and that's basically Golden Boy Promotion has put the money up for this fight. Now, try and keep an open mind. If you can't keep an open mind and you don't know about the business of boxing, then you might as well switch this the fuck off now. Okay? Because I've got no time to speak more on. You understand? I've got no time to explain to you the basic shit about what goes on in boxing. But Golden Boy have put up the money for this. They are the minority promoters in this fight. They put up 100% of the fight money. Devon Alexander promotes himself in association with Golden Boy. That means that not only Matchroom are eating into Golden Boy's money, but also Devon Alexander is taking a bigger purse than what he usually does. You understand? And all that's coming out of Golden Boy's pocket. Why would they do that? Okay, Richard Schaefer has said Andre Berto has a future with Golden Boy. And not only that, he will be in a world title fight in 2013. What is the only belt org that will allow Berto, an American, to fight for their title? Well, let's look. The WBO is held by Bradley and Top Rank, so that's not likely. The WBA is with Golden Boy and Paulie Malignaggi, but he's booked up with a fight with Sugar Shane Mosley, which he might lose. A fight with Zinchenko rematch now that he's won an international title against Ricky Hatton. And the number one mandatory spot is with a hard-hitting Argentinian called Diego Gabriel Chavez. All facts. The WBC. Mayweather. He's not going to be fighting Mayweather, in my opinion. And Guerrero also holds that title, sort of. So 99% of the time, Mayweather does not fight a guy coming off a loss. So I don't think that's going to be likely. You understand? That means the IBF is the only title Berto can fight at 147. And it doesn't matter if he's coming off a loss, the IBF are like that. You understand? And that way, Golden Boy get all their money for it. So does anyone think it's possible? Think about this. It's possible that Golden Boy Promotions suggested to Devon Alexander that he will fight Andre Berto next in 2013, where Golden Boy are now the major promoter of this fight. A fight that is bigger than Berto versus Brook. An all-American fight this is, that they can put on pay-per-view and make more money off, recycling the overhyped Andre Berto. After all, is it HBO or Showtime? Berto's got them in his pocket. For some reason, they bum Berto. Gotta think about that, haven't you? So, other than that, let's get into the advantages that each fighter takes into this fight. Power. When you look at each of these guys, you can see Devon Alexander does not have significant punching power. His pop in his punch is not good enough at 147 pounds for me. He had Maidana hurt, yes, but he couldn't close the show. Why? Maybe that's just he's got a lack of killer instinct. Possibly. Brook, let's look at him. I don't think he's a knockout puncher either. He did drop his last opponent numerous times and knock him out. Understandable. However, I think that was more to do with Saldivia having a weak chin than Kell being the next Mike Tyson. This fight for me is going the distance. Let's look at the boxing ability. when I look at Kell Brook in this fight, I do see one huge advantage for him. And I see a huge flaw in Devon Alexander's game. And that is that Kell Brook has a very experienced corner, number one, and they can exploit, right, that. And let's look at this again, time and time again, at 140 pounds, what did Devon Alexander show us? He showed us he cannot deal with one, pressure. Two, he cannot deal with a jab. Let's look at some evidence for this, okay? Andre Berto retired after the joke of a decision against him after he applied technical pressure behind a solid jab. Someone who has watched this, right, and has watched Kell Brook before and isn't biased can tell me that Kell's main weapon is his excellent jab. Fact. Bradley applied very good pressure and landed the cleaner, more eye-catching punches. He couldn't deal with the pressure against Matisse either, and he also landed the bigger shots, applied more pressure, and had Devon down at one point and in constant trouble in that fight. Fact. These are all facts. Kell Brook has a great jab. He can use this. Kell Brook is better than Berto. He's got a better jab. He can work off the jab much better. He's got better movement. He's a bigger unit at 147 pounds. In fact, if you've never seen Kell fight, just imagine a mixture of a Jose Alushin and Andre Berto in the ring. However, one thing that Kell cannot say is he's only got one gear. He cannot step up another gear if the going gets tough. He's only got one gear going through this fight. He's like one of those electric cars. If it's not good enough, there's a very good chance Devon's going to just outwork him. Do you understand? And that's the thing that happened in all the other fights. Andre Berto applied great pressure to Devon Alexander. Devon Alexander done those pity-patty shots that don't even land. You understand what I'm saying? Let's look at Devon Alexander. Devon is a bit of a boxing enigma to me. He fights very negative, very negative. He never wants to engage in a firefight. He throws a large amount of these pity-patty shots, and I would say about 60% of which do not land. But because he fights at home, yeah, he gets credit for those shots anyway. And I totally understand why he fights at home. And this is not meant to be an insult. This is just how I see it. He's the type of fighter that if he left home and didn't have the judges backing him or looking for him to score, there's a difference between, having it fixed and a judge watching what you're doing just to see what you're doing. You understand? If he didn't have that, I think his record would be significantly worse than it is today. Significantly. He's the type of guy, if you take him out of his hometown, you take the fight out of the fighter. And that is one of the reasons why he did not want anything to do with Kell Brook in the UK. Fact, he said, if Matchroom get the rights for this fight, then he's going to drop the belt. That's what he said. So he got Golden Boy to put up the money. Golden Boy put up the money for the great promotions. It's true. One thing that we can say about Devon Alexander is he is a big ticket seller, and that's one of the ways they can justify him getting these close decisions with very negative performances. And more power to him. If he can have negative performances and also sell a lot of tickets, that's great for him. It's great for his promoter, or him, well, that's him now. It's great for everyone really, except his opponent. Personally, I wouldn't like to pay to watch him fight. He isn't value for money for me. Also, looking at Devon Alexander, he seems to have one very good performance, or a great performance, like he did against Arango, and then more recently against Maidana, and then he follows that up with a huge regression in performances, like he did then against Kotelnik, Bradley, Matisse, okay? More recently, his fight at 147, at the worst champion at 147, Rendell Bailey, fact, right, was a hugely unimpressive fight compared to his standout victory against Marcus Maidana. Let's look at the scorecards for the Rendell Bailey fight. 116, 110, 115, 111, 117, 109. All totally different. Do you understand? Let's say Kell Brook, well, he is clearly better than Bailey in my opinion. If you don't think that, then you've got to really think, have I watched enough Kell Brook? Or, are you biased in some kind of way? Because it is a fact that Brook is better than Bailey. What happens if Kell takes it closer? Look at that. Look at the scorecard. What if he takes the fight even closer? Because I didn't think that there was much in that fight. When I say there wasn't much in that fight, I mean, I thought Alexander won the fight quite clearly, but he wasn't very good. You know what I mean? He didn't impress me. Do you understand? So let's talk about this. What happens if it's closer? And if you think I'm just bashing Devon Alexander, it's one. I'm not. I'm bashing the game. I'm bashing the politics. You know, I'm going to put all of my money on my Bet365 account onto Devon Alexander to win this fight. I think he'll win a decision. He can't. He's been saying he's going to knock out Kell Brook. He can't knock him out. You know, the first thing is if he didn't knock out people like Rendell Bailey and Maidana, who was sluggish, awful, and probably the worst I've ever seen Maidana fight, and I think he's very overhyped, then there's no way he's going to knock out a natural 147-pound fighter in Kell Brook, who I think a lot of people are underrating. So the way I see this fight going down is this is going to be a decision. It could be controversial. I think there could be 1 point in this either way. But due to it being in not Kell Brook. Sounds stupid, man. Because it's in Devon Alexander country, you understand, it's going to go to him. And then they're going to set up a fight with Andre Berto. Guarantee it. There might be one more fight or something, and then it'll be Andre Berto. Golden Boy are pushing for that fight with Andre Berto. I am so sure of it.